Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abby Deal, and I use the pronouns she, hers, and I'll be moderating this 45-minute session entitled Leading and Living Well, Becoming a Peer Wellness Coach. Thank you for attending the inaugural Mental Health and Wellbeing Summit, offering workshops and activities for students to take a break and take care of their mental and physical health. Before we continue, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on the land in which we currently reside. If you're in Madison, like I am, we are guests on the ancestral home of the Ho-Chunk Nation. The University of Wisconsin-Madison occupies Ho-Chunk land, the place their nation calls Dejope since time immemorial. In the 1832 treaty, the Ho-Chunk were forced to cede the territory. Decades of ethnic cleansing followed by both the federal and state government repeatedly, but unsuccessfully, sought to forcibly move the Ho-Chunk from Wisconsin. This history of colonization informs our shared future of collaboration and innovation. Today, UW-Madison respects and inherits sovereignty of the Ho-Chunk Nation, along with 11 other First Nations of Wisconsin. Please take a moment to consider the many legitimacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that brings us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths every day. I want to thank Professional Interpreting Enterprise for providing interpretation and captioning, and the Wisconsin Union Campus Event Services for producing this event. The closed captioning button will appear in the toolbox at the bottom of this Zoom screen. We also will be taking question and answers throughout the session today. So if you have questions throughout, please write them in the Q&A box, and either I will be able to answer them writtenly, or we'll wait till the end for our speaker to answer them as well. So now I would like to introduce our speaker, Lee Weintraub, Coordinator of Wellbeing at Recreation and Wellbeing. Take it over, Lee.
Thank you, Abby. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Everybody see okay? All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We're really excited about launching this new program and sharing what we've developed with you all. So right now we're in the pilot phase of the program. So what that means is that we are training a small cohort of students to be peer wellness coaches, and we're having them run through the group wellness coaching program. Then evaluate the program so that by the fall we will have a program ready for clients, meaning anyone in the UW-Madison student body. So we are in an exciting place, and we're thrilled to be able to share all of this information with you today. So just a little bit about who I am. So my name is Lee Weintraub. I use she, her, and hers pronouns, and I'm the coordinator of well-being at RecWell. So in my role, I serve as the supervisor of the peer wellness coaching program. I'm also a double badger, so I did my undergrad at UW-Madison, and then I stuck around and did my MPH at the UW School of Medicine and Public Health. So I know firsthand the experience of being a student on this campus, but we really want to build this program with current UW-Madison students in mind. So that's why we're employing our current peer wellness coaches to run through the program and training to make sure it's the best for UW-Madison students that it can be by fall when we do a formal launch of the program. So just a little bit about the session outline for today. I'm going to talk about what well-being is and what it means to RecWell and the university. Then I'll talk about what wellness coaching is and also what it isn't, and share some information about our program specifically. Then I'll talk about the peer wellness coach experience and the type of commitment it involves from students. Then I'll talk about how to get involved if students are interested. And finally, at the end, I'll save some time for some question and answer. So first, I want to start by acknowledging the definition of well-being that the university uses. I share this definition because the aspects of well-being, which I'll share in a moment, are what we base the peer wellness coaching program curriculum around entirely. So on this slide, you'll see the 7 aspects of well-being that we honor at the university and at Recwell, which are health, meaning, growth, safety, connection, achievement, and resiliency. And then in the next few slides, we'll talk more about what each of these aspects of well-being means. And when we introduce this framework to our students, we offer these 7 aspects of well-being as a way to look at your life from a holistic lens. Considering these 7 aspects allows you to consider how to balance your life without focusing too specifically on only one aspect of well-being. So I will go through them now. So the first is health, and we define that by saying beyond the absence of mental and physical illness, health is a feeling of strength and energy from your body and mind. So one thing I often like to ask people is, how can you optimize your health in ways that go beyond just not being sick? The next aspect of well-being is meaning. So that's the feeling that you're part of something bigger than yourself, knowing that your life matters or having purpose in your life. So sometimes I like to ask individuals, what are some activities, group memberships, communities, academic courses, or maybe paths, spiritual practices, family roles, extracurriculars, etc., that bring meaning into your life? And then the next aspect of well-being is safety. So we talk about this aspect by breaking it down into 5 categories, and these categories include feeling safe physically, psychologically, financially, and then safe expressing yourself and safe showing vulnerability. Safety is an important aspect of well-being because in order to truly feel safe, you should feel safe and free from harm on campus, in any spaces you are in, at work and at home, but also financially, physically, and emotionally. Another big aspect of safety is safety to feel yourself, no matter where you are. This is a big one for our program, as we want all participants to feel safe walking into our spaces and feeling seen and heard and listened to. So then the next aspect of well-being is connection. So connection is defined by experiencing positive, trusting relationships with others, feeling a sense of belonging, acceptance, and support. And then the next is achievement. So the feeling that you have the support, resources, and autonomy to achieve your goals. What we emphasize here is the support, resources, and autonomy piece. Do you feel like you have the support or resources in place to achieve the goals that you want to achieve? And that's what we focus on with this aspect with our students in the program, and also when we're defining it in general. And then growth. So this is the feeling like you're progressing personally, professionally, spiritually, and or emotionally, learning and being challenged to use and expand your strengths. And then the last definition of well-being, and this one is definitely a long definition, so I'll break it down at the end here, but resiliency is your capacity for persistence, emotional intelligence, grit, cognitive flexibility, adapting to change, delaying gratification, and learning from failure. It's really, and what we like to break it down into in the program and with our students at Recwell, is it's your ability to bounce forward rather than backward from a difficult experience. So I know there are all kinds of examples of this, and we just like to say, can you bounce forward from a difficult experience? And that's how we define resiliency. So basically, I'm showing you this figure again, and as you can imagine, these 7 aspects of well-being are highly interconnected. For example, you may have connections in your life that bring you meaning, or you may not have safe transportation options that you'd need to access fresh groceries. Those are things that are very intertwined in that may impact your health. So this graphic shows even more holistically how these aspects of well-being play a role in our lives. And I love showing this depiction of the 7 aspects of well-being because it shows how nobody has the exact same story. For example, different things bring meaning to different people, and people live in different environments that impact their safety. So what we emphasize to peer wellness coaches is that each and every client who enters the program will be unique. We want to honor every student's story, where they are at in their wellness journey, and how we can support them in the best way possible. knowing that every single person who enters our doors has a different definition of well-being for themselves. And that's why we train our peer wellness coaches in that way. We also ask them to take health equity into account and have them prepared with a toolbox of campus resources that they can then provide to students with when the students need those resources. So I'm going to pause here and ask if anyone has any questions about those 7 aspects of well-being. I will talk more about them later on in the program, but I just wanted to ask if anyone has any questions about that.
Lee, I don't see any in the Q&A, but we can wait a moment too.
So, I go ahead and continue then, and I can always answer questions at the end. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about what wellness coaching is and how it differs from other services on campus that you might have seen before. So here is a pretty complicated figure, but I'll break it down. So it shows some of the theoretical elements that make up wellness coaching as a practice. Some of you may have seen some of these in your classes or trainings before, because they're common components or concepts that are talked about in maybe a psychology or health promotion course. So listed here is, first of all, motivational interviewing, then trans theoretical model, which is also known as stages of change, positive psychology, self-determination theory, mindfulness, and appreciative inquiry. And these are all things that I train the wellness coaching students on. I'm not going to go in depth on these today, but what I will say is that these skills are highly transferable to professional careers. So this peer wellness coaching position is really an exciting opportunity for pre-health students or students seeking any clinical profession or psychology, social work, counseling, as you'll be developing skills that will be directly applicable to your professional career throughout your time as a peer wellness coach. First with training in these categories and then with practical practice out in the field with students coming on as clients. So no matter what health related field you're going into, you'll be using skills in, for example, motivational interviewing with your clients, but also maybe with your patients in the future. So that's a really exciting opportunity that we're able to offer to our students. So then a little bit more about wellness coaching. I really liked this quote right here, excuse me. Partnering with clients in a thought-provoking, and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Coaches honor the client as the expert in his or her life and believe every client is creative, resourceful, and whole. So what does that mean? It means that the coach facilitates focused conversations that help bring about change in whatever aspect of well-being in a client's life that they may choose to focus on. So in a session, a client makes wellness goals that are needed to them, so they consider it something they need, that they're excited about, and also that are time specific. Peer wellness coaching is a collaborative partnership between the coach and the client. And the client is considered to be the expert about their own life. So we're not asking our peer wellness coaches to go give expert advice to our clients, but rather we're asking our peer wellness coaches to honor the clients as the expert in their own life. And then it is a way to promote health and wellness outside of clinical services. So we can partner with clinical services to provide another service to students that they may need. Another quote that I really like that kind of outlines wellness coaching. So health and wellness coaches partner with clients seeking self-directed, lasting changes aligned with their values, which promote health and wellness and thereby enhance well-being. In the course of their work, health and wellness coaches display unconditional positive regard for their clients and a belief in their capacity for change and honoring that each client is an expert on his or her life while ensuring that all interactions are respectful and non-judgmental. And we're really taking all of these things into account as we're building our program and working with our students. I also wanted to talk a little bit about what wellness coaching is not. So first of all, and I know I mentioned this before, but wellness coaching is not expert advice being given to clients about what they should do, but rather wellness coaches are facilitating conversations to help students reach goals that they may have already had or were thinking about. Wellness coaching is also not behavioral health assessment. It's not a means for diagnosis, and it's not treatment. That's where you would want to seek clinical services. And it's not focused only on health education. I'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. So there are a few differences between peer wellness coaching and what you would think of as a peer health educator. So traditional health educators that you might think of do things like educational outreach via campus tabling, presentations, and events. And those sorts of roles are also incredibly important on college campuses. But there are a few distinctions between peer education versus peer wellness coaching. So first, it's a focused intervention. So it's either in a one-on-one or a group setting, but it's in a way that each participant is focused on. It requires additional in-depth training in principles of wellness coaching, motivational interviewing, mindfulness, suicide prevention, referrals, and more. It requires students to really be able to sit with the student and work with them on whatever wellness goals that they have in mind, and do so in a way that also allows the coaches to be equipped with resources across campus. So if a student needs to be referred somewhere or recommended somewhere, the student has the ability to do that. In a peer wellness coaching environment, relationships are formed between the coach and the clients over time. It's also an individualized health and wellness initiative. So in peer wellness coaching, health and wellness goals are developed per client, and it is an individualized experience versus just attending something like a workshop or an event where you might not come away with individualized health and wellness goals week after week. And then a little bit about wellness coaching versus clinical services, because there are definitely large differences there. So we are by no means a replacement for UHS clinical mental health services. We work together with UHS to refer to each other, and referrals between services are important. We serve as another mental health promoting space on campus, but we are not a replacement for UHS. We are not a treatment for a diagnosis. Wellness coaches are not clinicians, and they're not giving and should not give expert advice outside of their scope of practice. So if a student is really interested in seeking nutrition advice, our students should then be referring those students to seeking out professional nutrition advice from somebody like a dietitian, for example. Wellness coaching is a health promoting and community building initiative, but it is not a replacement for counseling and other clinical services. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about the coach and client relationship. So in peer wellness coaching, it's a collaborative partnership between the peer wellness coach and the clients, the participants, whether it's in a group setting or in a one-on-one setting. It's also built on trust and empathy. So we want to set up these environments so that students can feel safe and not judged, and that it's an unconditional space that they're walking into. These relationships are also built on mutual respect between the peer wellness coach and the client. And then there are always clear agreements, goals, and expectations set at the beginning of the experience and then throughout the experience as well, so that clients know exactly what they're getting, and the coaches can also make sure that there are specific expectations available for the clients throughout. And then we always strive to be a supportive, inclusive environment. We really don't tolerate any sort of discrimination in these sort of spaces, and it's something that we're working hard to train the peer wellness coaches on. So then I just wanted to talk a little bit about our program at UW-Madison specifically. So I know I talked a little bit about what peer wellness coaching is as a practice, but here I'll talk more about our new program that we're building out at UW-Madison that we're really, really excited about. So first, I want to bring you back to those 7 aspects of well-being that I mentioned before, because like I said, our group wellness coaching program is based around these 7 aspects of well-being. So at the beginning of the experience, so before they even start with coaching, they get to their first session and we have them take a pre-assessment, it's called, as they enter the program. And in that assessment, they will reflect on how they feel about the 7 aspects of well-being and how they relate to their own life. So we built it out to reflect those 7 aspects of well-being in a snapshot in time, and it allows them to have a place to reflect as they enter the program. And then based on the results, students will make goals for themselves throughout the program, and the 7 aspects of well-being will guide their thoughts, reflections, and decisions throughout the program. So if you choose to participate in a group wellness coaching experience next semester, what are you getting? So the first thing that you're getting is a 4-week session. So in the 4-week session, students will meet 1 time per week in small groups. And it will be about 1 hour per session, although a little bit further down the line, it might be that we have sessions that are a little bit longer to take some extra time for the self-assessment piece. We really want to make sure students have as much time for the self-assessment as possible, and we don't want to assign anyone homework. So we want to make sure that the sessions are long enough that the self-assessment in the first session is included in the time. There will also be a short mindfulness practice at the beginning of each session. So our peer wellness coaches are trained in mindfulness, and we will be offering short mindfulness practices at the beginning of each session. And then there will be a discussion each week with a mini lesson about the change-making process, and those lessons differ each week, and they're also given to the participants in their participant workbook so that they can reflect throughout that week that they've learned about it, about their life, and how that change-making lesson ties into their experience. And then there's a coaching section, and this is where a lot of the training that the students are going through ties in. So in that coaching session, there'll be an update on the past week. So students will talk about how things are going, maybe reflect on their past goals that they've had and like whether things are going well or if there are things they want to adjust. But regardless of what they're reflecting on, we really do want to try to celebrate the successes that students are having to tie positivity into the experience as well. And then the facilitator conducts a conversation using, among many other sorts of skills, motivational interviewing is at the forefront of those skills. So our students are being trained on that, and that's a skill that they can then carry into their clinical professional careers as well if they choose to go that route. And then at the end of the session, students will do some journaling about goal setting for future weeks to come. So they can either write a very specific thing that they want to do in that day, or they can talk about something that they want to do that week. Whatever it is, we want to make sure that they feel that it's needed, they're excited about it, and that it's time specific so that they can reflect back on those goals in future sessions. And then just some future possibilities about the program. So in the fall of 2021 is when we're going to have the formal launch of the program. So right now, like I said, we are piloting the program with just a small cohort of students just to evaluate the training and wellness circle experience, just to make the program as good as it can be for UW-Madison students. So then starting this fall of 2021, students can participate in group wellness coaching programs as clients, and we will be recruiting in the coming months for more peer wellness coaches for the fall. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but that's how we're going to formally launch the program. And then starting in spring 2022 and carrying it beyond, students can participate in one-on-one coaching services from a peer wellness coach and work on wellness goals in a one-on-one setting. So starting spring 2022, we're really going to roll out that one-on-one experience with our peer wellness coaches, knowing that they have had more training and more time to get used to being peer wellness coaches so they can be confident in that one-on-one setting. And then we'll also keep group wellness coaching in the mix and allow students to participate in those group wellness coaching sessions as well, even if we're also including one-on-one coaching. So if you choose to be a participant in our peer wellness coaching initiative, some things you can expect are that pre-assessment, like I talked about, which is based on the 7 aspects of well-being. And then weekly sessions focused on you and your wellness goals through guided conversations with your coach. So at the end of the day, these conversations are really just about you and what you want to achieve. Nobody will be telling you what to do. The coach will not be expecting to be the expert. The coach will always honor you as the expert about your needs and what you need to do in your life. You will also can expect autonomy. So you will have feelings of being in control of the situation. Like I said, people are not going to be telling you what to do. And then you can expect a positive, inclusive space with a health promoting environment with other students there too. So maybe you'll get to know some other students and build that sense of connection as well. And then you can, of course, expect mindfulness practice. Like I said, that will be a portion of the experience weekly. And then really you can just expect a place to learn, grow, and feel respected as you embark on a wellness journey. So I wanted to also talk a little bit about the wellness coach experience because some of you in this session may be interested in becoming peer wellness coaches, and I'm excited to welcome you into this part of the session and tell you a little bit more about what it means to be a peer wellness coach at UW-Madison. So first, I want to talk a little bit about the experience of being a peer wellness coach. Like I said, before we were in a pilot stage of the program. Right now, we were building out this curriculum to really make sure that peer wellness coaches were gaining a lot from being part of this program. We have 10 coaches on board right now, and we're gaining their feedback and insight about the program. And really, this is what the experience is going to look like moving forward. So you will get to know a cohort of other coaches who have interests in campus health promotion. So that's really cool that we're building that community of students. You'll get paid to help others make changes in their lives, which is cool. You'll join a large network of RecWell employees. So RecWell is one of the largest employers on this campus for students. And so you'll join a large network of RecWell employees. You'll also gain non-clinical health promotion experience and 2 MPH mentors. So the 2 professional staff in well-being at RecWell both have their MPH and would be happy to talk public health with you at any moment. Then a little bit about training. So like I mentioned before, there are a lot of theoretical elements that are tied into the practice of wellness coaching. So this is not an exclusive list, but it is some of the things that peer wellness coaches are trained on in our program. So they're trained on motivational interviewing, so being able to facilitate conversations about change with participants. They will be trained in mindfulness practice. They will be trained in peer education, and so that's actually a certification through an organization called NASPA. They'll be trained in principles of wellness coaching. They will be trained in referrals and risk management. They'll be trained in suicide prevention and also trained in facilitating group wellness coaching sessions. So then just a little bit about what the commitment looks like day to day. So we are asking for a 5 to 10 hour per week time commitment from our peer wellness coaches. Most of the hours are spent facilitating group wellness coaching sessions and working with participants. And there are weekly meetings for a debrief, maybe some skill building, in-service trainings. I know we'll work really closely with our students to fine-tune the motivational interviewing skills that they've developed. And so we'll have a lot of practice in that regard. We really want our students to feel comfortable bringing any scenarios into our spaces so that we can all get together and debrief and figure out what's working well, what we can improve on, and make sure that this program is as strong as it can be moving forward. So then how you can get involved and how you can apply to be a peer wellness coach. So we are inviting students to apply via the UW Student Jobs website. There will be a posting for the fall 2021 position that will go live later this spring, and we do prefer a multiple semester commitment. The posting is not live right now, so if you go search for it on the UW Student Jobs website, you won't find it. But I would invite you to email me at ljweintraub@wisc.edu. It's also on our website at RecWell. Please email me to get an email with the job posting when it goes live. I'm happy to send you that posting so that you know when it's gone live if you want to sign up to be a peer wellness coach. Or if you have any questions about the Peer Wellness Coaching Program, either from the client perspective or from the coach perspective, I'm always happy to answer those questions and help you decide what's the best fit for you, or if you want to participate in this program in some regard. So with that, like I said, I invite you to email me at ljweintraub@wisc.edu. And with that, I will turn it over to Abby for questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Lee. I just also wanted to add one little note. While I am the moderator, I also help Lee oversee this program as well. And one thing I do want to note for students that this is a huge collaborative effort with multiple campus partners. So while this program is really anchored in Recwell, we have immense support from both UHS, Center for Healthy Minds. We have the Samaritan Family Wellness Foundation, who is an outside of UW-Madison organization, but all of these groups have really come together to really form this incredible program for students. And so we want you to all know that this is a huge collaborative effort with multiple campus partners with this. So Lee, you did a great job outlining everything and explaining all of that for everyone on the call. We only had one question and we already answered it, talking about currently hiring for these positions for summer or fall, and if so, where to find those positions. So you answered that in the last slide. I will just wait a moment or two to see if there's any other questions before we wrap up. So if folks have any questions, feel free to put it in the Q&A box. All right, I understand it's a Friday afternoon and everyone is ready to move on to their weekend, but I just wanted to thank you all for attending. We have one more session after this, so if you are interested, you can go to wellbeingsummit.wisc.edu to attend the 4 p.m. session. There will be a lot of links and videos of this, all these sessions that we're here today up on that website, so please check that out. And beyond the summit, I invite you to put your mental health plan into practice next week as part of the grassroots campaign to promote self-care and community well-being among all of students, faculty, and staff. We're calling this collection effort Take Care UW. You can find related activities and recorded sessions from the Mental Health and Wellbeing Summit on our event webpage, and join the conversation on social media using the hashtag TakeCareUW. So thank you all so much for attending, and we wish you a happy weekend and stay safe.